Good evening, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss aspects in the verb phrase. If you'd like to catch up with me, it's on page 144 on your book, An Introductory English Grammar by Norman Stageberg. So pay attention, please. I hope you have fun. Your assistant lecturer, Hajar Mahmoud Ibrahim. The objectives of this lecture are: what is meant by aspect or aspect in the verb phrase, the subdivisions of aspect, the indefinite aspect, the progressive aspect, the completive aspect, and the completive or progressive aspect. Though these names can also be changed or renamed by different sources, we stick to these terms for they are used by your texts or your author text, Norman Stageberg. So first of all, the first question that comes up into your minds is what is aspect? أول سؤال ممكن يخطر على بالكم هو شو معنات الأسبكت. Before jumping into what is an aspect, I need to tell you that we express more than we say, and this is something you studied in linguistics. Okay, then احنا بالبداية ليش درسنا simple present tense continuous present tense, simple past, continuous past, perfect tense, present perfect, and simple past, and their differences. What does this mean? What does this help? In grammar there are three terms to be noted, اللي هي tense اللي يشيرنا إلى the time of the event, or at which time the event was the event occurred, and aspect واللي يشيرنا إلى it is a grammatical category يشيرنا إلى a perspective that denotes an action, whether is it complete, is it finished, is it a progressive, ongoing, is it completed, perfectly completed, etc. So, and also in addition to mood. In this lecture we are going to consider only aspect. So according to Stageberg, an aspect is the expression of meanings concerned with the continuity or distribution of events in time. إذن أنا من أجي أباوع على الجملة مثلا أقول he starts to walk, then إذن أنا الفعل start to walk أعطاني يا معنى beginning of an event، صح؟ إذا قلت مثلا he stopped walking أعطاني إنه this is a single event in time، أعطاني معنى an end of an event. إذا for example قلت he pounded on the door, the verb gives the meaning of what? Of repetition. He pounded on the door. If I say for example used to eat, الفعل ده يعطيني the meaning of what? A habit or habitual performance of event. So verbs not only show tense، الأفعال ما تعطيني بالزمن، لا، verbs also give meaning. Verbs also denote time. هل إنه الفعل مثلا استمر؟ هل هو simple event in time؟ هل هو occurred several times؟ هل هو habitual؟ هل هو completed؟ All these meanings can be expressed in what? In the verb phrase. There are about 8 types of aspects, though Stageberg introduces 4 of them, which carries the important of them all, or the most important of them all. Now let's give the subject another sight or another insight. This is the timeline, and this is now, this is the future, later, and this is the past, yesterday or then. According to tense, مثلا أقدر أقول I work، أقدر أقول I will work، وأقدر أقول I worked. So I work is what? Present now. I will work tomorrow or future. I worked past or yesterday. Now with I work I can say for example I am working، صح؟ وممكن أقول I worked all day، وممكن أقول I had worked all day. كلهم شنو يعطوني معنى؟ أنه the verb is what, or the action عفوا. The action is progressive, ongoing. Something happened and it continued for a while, right? مثلا بس I work for example means that an event happened or occurred at a specific point in time and will be repeated. ممكن أيضا أقول I had worked. This is what? This is something that is completed and finished, so I can call this aspect as what? I can call it as completive aspect because the event is what? Completed. When I say I had worked, this means that the hearer المستمع is assured that the event is what? Is finished and completed. I can also say I worked. Something happened on a specific point in time. So all these are what? Aspects. This can be also applied to I will work and also to I worked. ممكن همتين أطبقها على الفيوتشر، ممكن أطبقها على الباست وأشتغل عليه. So these different forms give different meanings. فالaspect ممكن احنا شنو نقول عليه؟ meaning. Okay? So the first aspect introduced to you by Stageberg, we are not going to deal with the other types such as the beginning of event, the end of events, the frequency, etc. On page 145 you can find other 8 aspects, but you can jump at the bottom of the page and see the first aspect we are going to study, واللي هو the indefinite aspect. Other authors call it the simple aspect. Indefinite aspect or the simple aspect is, as the name denotes, is very simple. شنو يعني very simple? Very simple طبعا بكل aspect تاني راح أعطيكم الevent، يعني المعنى اللي راح ينطيني إياه، ال form of the verb، شكل الفعل شلون دا يصير. Is it alone? Does it have an auxiliary? Or does it with the past tense, etc. The past participle, I don't know. Several types with several forms. And the adverbial وظرف الزمن. Okay? So according to the simple aspect or the indefinite aspect, the event is what? Single event in time. يعني مثل شنو single event in time؟ مثلا أقول I wrote a book, or she writes a letter, or for example he jumped out of the car. إذن الإيفنت هنا شنو صار؟ مرة واحدة ما تكرر. أوكي؟ شلون بعد أتأكد إنه this is an indefinite aspect؟ الform of the verb، شكل الفعل. The verb is what? Alone. الفعل وحده. Simple. There is no auxiliaries. There is no auxiliary. ماكو فعل مساعد. وبالنسبة للadverb ممكن يكون adverbial of definite time. For example, I worked today, or I work every night. أو مثلا أقول she wrote a letter yesterday. إذن شنو هو؟ definite time لكن مو duration. عندكم هنا الجملة I overslept yesterday morning. The second aspect is the progressive aspect. As As the name suggests, this aspect expresses that the event is what progressing, continuing, going on. There is no indication that the event will there is no indication that the event is finished. There is no indication of an end. ما دام احنا بدنا نحكي عن ال continuity, since we are talking about continuity, progressing, then the verb must have an ing, right? And the verb with an ing never comes alone. It needs auxiliary be. With the progressive aspect, we are not dealing only with the present. ما أنا متى أتعامل بس ويا المضارع. We are also dealing with all forms of being. يعني مثلا أقدر أقول she is driving the car, she was driving the car, she will be driving the car, she would be driving the car, she may be driving the car. All these have what? A specific, a single aspect واللي هو progressive. ليش؟ لأن the meaning is the same. The meaning is that the event is progressing, going on with no indication of an end. But another signal for this aspect is the adverbial. طبعا الادverbial راح يكون of a duration. She is driving the car for 2 hours now. She has been learning to drive the car for 2 days. Some verbs tend to be used within this aspect. ليش؟ لأنه they have the capacity to have an extension in time, as Stageberg says. مثل الأفعال walk, through, grow, change, get, prolong, etc. These verbs have such capacity. عندهم هاي المقدرة على شنو continuity. So they are commonly used in such an aspect. نلقاهم أغلب الأحيان بهذا الأسبكت. اللي ممكن تنتبهوا له أكثر إنه ممكن أستخدم الverb alone لكن أنطي duration. يعني مثلا أقول she drove the car all day. She drove was هسه طالب يشوف drove يقول this is a single verb, a single event. So it is the simple aspect أو اللي نسميه إحنا indefinite aspect. بس أنت كطالب أو أنت كطالبة you should pay attention to the adverb. هنا الadverb شنو كان؟ all day. يعني this is duration, and the duration means what? Progressive. So please pay attention to such sentences. The third type is the completive aspect. من اسمه, again, as the name suggests, it is what? Completed. The event here is completed. It begins in the past and ends in the past also, or it continues to the present. The form of the verb have plus the D past participle. Have ممكن تكون have, has, or had, all the three forms. بالنسبة للadverbials ممكن يكون duration أو ممكن يكون with no adverbs. مثلا with the duration طبعا نستخدم since and for, and this is very obvious in the perfect tenses. For example, Jane has attended college. هنا الverb phrase يأكد لنا أنه the action is what? Completed. The event is finished, completed. So it is what? Completive aspect. Jane has attended college since last September. هنا الadverbial يأكد لي. The adverbial confirms that the aspect is what? Completive. The final aspect is the completive or progressive aspect, a combination of the last two. Combination of completive aspect and the progressive aspect. Let's consider this sentence. I have been working hard. I have been working hard. Now, this sentence is completive ليش? For three reasons. أول reason, the first reason is that the verb phrase consists of have plus the past participle of the verb be. Have been. So it is completive. Again, more, It is completive because it cannot take an adverbial of definite time. ما أقدر أقول I have been working for example at 8 o'clock. ما أقدر أستخدم definite time. ما أقدر أقول I have been working hard last night. This is wrong. 3. It is completive because it takes the adverbial of a duration. يعني for example I can say I have been working hard for 3 hours now. So for these 3 reasons this sentence is completed. Then بعد, how is this sentence progressive? It is obviously progressive since the verb phrase consists of be plus verb with ing, واللي هنا هي been plus working. بعد, it expresses an ongoing event, a continuous, a progressive event. And further, so we can say it also have a duration, can have an adverbial of duration. So such sentences واللي هي تكون perfect present continuous, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous. All these tenses have the completive or progressive aspect because it has the meanings of both the completion of the event and the continuity of the event. Now let's check our information till now. Number 1, George played in the band last night. Can you guess which aspect is this? George played in the band last night. Now here played, it has no auxiliary, the verb is alone. Furthermore, we have a definite time. So this must be an indefinite aspect. Number 2, Hans was building a doghouse. Hans was building a doghouse. هسه لو نجي على الفعل نشوفه شنو متكون من be plus verb with ing. There is no time to discuss, and the event is what progressing or was a progressing. So this is what a progressive aspect. Charlotte had been sick. Charlotte had been sick. Now if we come to the verb phrase, it consists of had, واللي هي a form of have, and a past participle of the verb be. So the action here is also what? Completed, finished. So it is the completive aspect. Miss Garcia had been lecturing on water pollution. Had been lecturing. Had been, this is what? Completive. And be or been lecturing, this is a progressive. So obviously this is a completive or progressive aspect. Please do the rest, and you can also check other examples and practice more examples on your book. Send me any questions if you face any trouble or if there were any misunderstanding. Thank you so much for listening, for paying attention. Hope the lecture was beneficial. Hope it was clear. Your lecturer Hajar Mahmoud Ibrahim. Thank you.